Yes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den. If this is your first time, this is where you come to understand what leadership, growth, and development with the call to action looks like from the crib to outside in the community. Yes, my name is Seth, and then it seems like we got Big Herm on the side. What's going on with you, bro?
Man, first, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got What's up, bro? What's up, man? What's up with the weekend, man?
Everything's good, man. Weekend went pretty smooth, man. Get ready for this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This week coming up, man, we about to head on to the beautiful Jamaica for the first time.
All right. There you go. You go swimming?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Well, as long as I get me a plate of oxtails, that's my main focus.
It's a damn shame. You know what? I'm gonna need you not to focus on food, on everything that we do.
Yo, how was your weekend?
Man, you know what? It was cool, man. Really just relaxed, man. Kicked it with some friends, you know what I mean? And just got out. But today, man, just deep in the homework, bro. Deep in the homework. And it's crazy because I don't like it, but I love the benefits of it, learning about clinical mental health, right? And so it's a lot going on.
You just dropped the book, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
I did. Yeah. So, man, it's the the deck of success, right? Your deck of success. What's going on, everybody? And basically, man, it's a compilation book. And my part in the book being the King of Spades, I talk about how success, or how the individuals that you surround yourself is pivotal in your success, right? You can't do it all by yourself. And so essentially that's what my chapter is about. But man, it's a group of individuals, thought leaders, doctors, everyone talking about what success looks like to them and their path. So everybody that's interested in it and that has supported, I appreciate y'all. I do appreciate it though.
Hey, and also we'd be remiss not to give saying shout out to our guy Larry.
Yes.
And his family right now. He's been experiencing a lot of loss, man. Saying we're here with your family and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And anything that we could do.
Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, too, I want to let everybody know we appreciate it. He appreciate all the support. We on the last show, we talked about the GoFundMe, because yes, man, he was just getting a hit, man, like 3 family members, man, close family members, just going through it, man. So, but again, we don't just give information, right? And don't ask for anything in return, but anything that people can do to show support, we appreciate it. He most definitely did. So no, it's all good. So what else going on with it, man?
Man, just getting ready for the holidays, bro. You know what I mean? We rolling in the Thanksgiving time frame and Christmas.
Yeah.
A lot of time to, reflect and spend with your family and figure out really what matters most, for folks.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm trying to, what matters to me is, why is it that the day after Halloween, we talking about Christmas and New Year's? I go everywhere.
It's November,
bruh. But still, no, ain't it Thanksgiving? Isn't it other things in between? Veterans Day. They don't talk about nothing of significance. Bruh. You get what I'm saying? It just goes straight into, all right, look, just here, Black Friday. There you go. Black Friday, and then spend your money.
It's time to spend money, dog.
Nah, we ain't in there. But you know what, man? We've been doing this now for almost 4 years, okay? We were both in the military, right? Served. I mean, life sentence. You get it? And it's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the career pivot. It's more than just after doing something, finding a career, you saying, okay, cool, this is what I want to do, right? This is my dream job. How do you know? You understand? How do you know what your dream job is? Right, and are you encouraged to explore? What does that look like? And the nuances of navigating through that. Hey, so Herm, I'm gonna give you the honors, man, to introduce our guest, man.
So everybody, that's been following the Den should know who he is. He's one of our more influential guests that we've been able to have on the show. Military veteran, I had the honor and privilege to serve with him. Retired, moving on to other things, and got much respect for him. Was able to mentor and help guide me through my young career, and I'm just honored to call him a friend today. The Den, please welcome retired Colonel, Mr. however he wants to go by, Jerry Reed.
Yes. What's going on, brother? What's going on? How you doing?
At this point, I'm doing well. To answer that question, I just want to thank you guys for having me on and talk about this subject, because it's a journey. But to Herm's question of what do we call me, I'm just Jeremy, man. And I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. All the titles, all the colonel this and all that. I'm good with just being Jeremy. It feels good just to be Jeremy for once, and people treat you as such, not based on your title, your position in life, based on just what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still make people call me Senior Master Sergeant, but I mean, if that's how you go about it.
I hope you don't. Hey, but look, real talk, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna let everybody know. Look, he's still at the gym wearing PT clothes like a lame. I see it. Let it go, bro. Hey, then not even the new joints, the old. It still got the,
got the sound effect.
Hey, but look, man. Again, thank you for being on, brother, man. If you don't mind, just telling the audience a little bit about you and part of your transition, right? Because we got new audience, new people that's tuning in. They don't know, but we talk about transitioning, but from your mouth to their ears, man. Just let them know a little bit about you and how that transition is.
All right. Well, real quick, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm the son of Sybil and Jeremy and Charles Reed. I almost called my own self. The father of Jeremy and Ryan and Reed and Christiana Laura and Gabriella Laura and my beautiful wife Christina Reed. And then served 25 years in the Air Force and retired as a colonel. Was a commander on numerous levels, the flight, squadron, air base wing level. So I've had an opportunity to serve this country in that way, but now I've transitioned to being the chief operating officer for the city of Montgomery, Alabama.
Man.
Yep. Nothing less. We go ahead, brother.
So Jeremy, before you got to where you are in Alabama, you had a little pit stop.
Right.
You had a pit stop where you was his assistant athletic director.
So I was the director of operations at Norfolk State University in Virginia there. And that's and Seth was kind of talking about that in the intro was, kind of feeling your way. And being comfortable enough to kind of search to where you want to be. Some things work out, some things you think are going to work out, and it's your lifelong, endeavor. And then you get into it and you like, yeah,
right.
So I had a great experience there at Norfolk State. I mean, those folks are doing a great job trying to step in the gap for young African Americans and help them reach their goals from a higher education perspective in the athletic department. I mean, just a lot of great young people trying to further their life. Now, and let's be honest, at Norfolk State, a lot of those kids aren't going to play in the NFL. So the emphasis is on getting their education, giving them some leadership skills, and pivoting them to a life of success outside of athletics, or even in athletics if they want to go into athletic business or being a coach or something along those lines. So I had a great time in that short stint. But what I realized was that at 50 years old, did I want to start where I was going to have to start to be in that space? And it was one of those things where, I'll be honest with you, and Mr. Miller and I were talking about this earlier. You think when you come out of the military, you have all this expertise and all these experiences.
Right.
But folks don't value that the way you think they do.
They don't give a damn.
Your service at Applebee's, they at the IHOP. But when you get on the job and you say, "Hey, I'm trying to help you here," and especially leaders, right, in the organization, and you're trying to, because you've led. As a colonel, you've led thousands of people at one time, and you got a staff of 20 and you're trying to coach somebody that's your boss that said they wanted the coaching, right? Oh, I want to bring you on because you're going to help me change the culture, do change management, and help me lead this team. And then when you start giving input, man, it's something.
That's when this person's the real deal. He might take my job.
Well, I won't say that.
What I would say through my personal experience, right, in the civilian sector, because I feel like it's different. You know what I mean? In the military, your rank pretty much validates where you're supposed to be at in these certain spots, right? There's really no threat. If I am the flight chief, there's really no threat unless I'm jacking up so bad that somebody, you know what I'm saying, I could mentor up young master sergeants and not worry about it, man. Person might be above me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it won't really happen in that sense. But I feel like in this world, you know what I mean, and it's a bit different, you know what I mean, because they do see job security, you know what I'm saying, in certain jobs, and like, man, if I do too much, you know what I'm saying, they might start looking at him to replace me. And to your point, when you talked about when you first came out, I went to corrections when I first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the same thing. It's like I think that one of the things I messed up at it was going straight into something right after my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, there's no way this idiot is telling me what to do because this dude is stupid.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what?
Look.
You know what I'm saying? I just came back, man. Hey, I briefed the general to let him know if it's time to go to war.
Right.
And this idiot right here picking his nose is telling me what to do. I like,
right.
oh, man, you know what
Yo, it's so, man, it's so crazy. Hey,
so hey, I'm gonna break in right there. I'm gonna break in right here.
Go ahead, because we did talk about.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be politically correct.
Be real.
Look, man, you tell somebody, like we had an event, right? And the whole staff came out, worked on this event. And when we got it done, the boss came in and said, you know, she just came in and tore it down, right? So we ended up having to rush an hour. And this was for the athletes. This was like a return to campus icebreaker. We had done a lot of things to have food trucks and carnival venues, slides, blow up, you know, just for them to have fun, right? You know, and get a chance to meet each other. And man, we were there. And so it started at 6. We had people leaving there like at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And people were grumbling to me, right? So I go over to the boss and I'm like, the next day I said, hey, let me bend your ear a little bit. I said, you know, I said, you left early last night and I know you had some things to do, but I think you need to take an opportunity to thank the people who did all the work yesterday, because, you know, we forget that people sacrifice piano recitals, football practice, basketball practice, ballet practice. Some families just want to sit down and eat with their family for dinner, and they sacrifice that to be a part of this, to make it happen. I think it would go a long way just telling people thank you and showing some sincere gratitude to the work they did to further your mission and further your vision. Man, I got an eye roll like I was stupid. And I was like, and that's everything I've been taught, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that's my core. You talk about core values, and Herm will tell you this. I may chew your butt, I may come down, but I'm always going to build you up. I'm always going to come back and build you up and say, all right, so what did we learn from that? What are we going to do? What's the recovery? Mm-hmm. And so it was, and so those are the type of things that I just couldn't wrap my head around, right? So sometimes it's not even the function of what you do, it's the space and who you're working with in that first contact, right? Because I did exactly what Herm did. I went from retirement party, high five Herm, high five you, Seth, and then I went to work like 2 weeks later.
Right. That's
so
true.
First contact, this is what I'm getting, right? And I'm like, man, this ain't the place for me. This ain't the place for me. I gotta. And so what I did was I didn't even seek any because I had that cushion where I didn't have to work. Mm-hmm. So I just kicked it at the crib, played golf, worked out, and went fishing.
You know what? So I'm gonna go in and jump in here. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all just listening in, we're talking about the career pivot and how important it is, especially as you're in the military transitioning out. Give yourself a little bit of space to reintroduce yourself to yourself, okay? Because I too did the same thing. And by the way, I got out right in the heat of COVID. So I was just, I was isolated from the world. I wanted to get back out there and do certain things. So, and we talk about this all the time. But again, if this is your first time listening, we want to reemphasize, as you're talking about getting out and thinking about getting out, giving yourself that time, that space to reconnect with your why. All right. Not just your family, not just yourself, but your why. Why do you want to do what you're doing? Right? Because that why is going to be larger than who you are and more than whatever paycheck you're going to get, but you want to make sure it's conducive, right? So now, Jeremy, let's jump into this though. As you talk about what you did do and how you felt about that, what type of leadership attributes do you think is helping you now? Okay, because the deal is you went straight out, boom, colonel, to now going, doing in the sports and about to, do the same type of leadership thing. But what have you learned about your leadership style and individuals that you are leading? How are you able to maneuver through that in this pivot in your new position?
Man, it's a change. You got to change your leadership style, because what works in the military, what works in the Air Force, is at times is not appreciated in the outside world like it was in the military. I was talking to you earlier, Seth, and I was saying, look, people didn't appreciate the knife hand,
Like, look, damn it.
Because here's the thing, we have been institutionalized in the Air Force that we have these high standards. We have, mediocrity is not an option, and you get out here and it is. It's a
real thing.
No, it's a valid option. It is something that people strive to. I'm like, how you strive to mediocrity? I mean, so I'm out here like talking about superiority.
Yeah,
is my what I'm shooting for. My floor is excellence, right? My excellence is where we start off. Superiority is the goal I'm trying to attain, to be the very best, not just one of the best, because that's what excellence means. You're one of the best. But when I'm talking about superior, I want to be superior. Man, people look at you, that take too much. I don't know why you coming in here. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. Everybody, no one else said they had a problem with it. All those things, right? And so you got to adjust to that. And it's a big adjustment, because, I got snitched on to the mayor.
Yeah.
Because I'm out there giving a knife hand.
Yeah.
And folks are like, hey, he talked, I didn't curse, I kept it PC, but just my tone, I guess my eyebrow raise, and pretty much telling people that that's not the goal.
That's right.
Is to be mediocre, but folks are shooting for that. That's what they're shooting for.
Yo, listen, Hey, look, now what you think about this?
I'm tripping off of him saying he don't curse. He didn't curse.
Oh, look, I know he did.
That's an adjustment. That's an adjustment out here.
What I saw back in the captain days, you know what I mean?
Hey, but look, Matt, let me ask you this though, man. What do you think about that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't saying individuals in the military are better than individuals that
no,
saying that. However, we have been, no kidding, conditioned to operate in a specific way. Now, don't get me wrong, not everybody picks that up. Okay, it's individuals that do a long career and stay subpar. Right.
But what happens is that it is worn on their shirt every day. We know who you are. You 25 years and you wear, I mean, no disrespect, but people make mistakes and things, but typically I can tell by your shirt, honestly, what you have done. Colin Powell even said it. Your ribbon rack is a walking billboard to your career. It tells you what you've done and what you haven't done. So, so it kind of plays out in that way, especially on the active duty side. On the civilian side, we have people that are happy to be in one spot, one place, same pay grade, all those things. And we need those, I call them yeoman workers, right? Those people that come in with a lunch pail and do their job and then go home. I don't have a problem with that. But when you are a leader, and see the people and I need to be sure to be clear about that. The people I'm talking to aren't those folks. We're talking about people with titles like directors of departments.
Right.
They have 400, 500 employees. And their performance is graded by not just the community at large, the media. Okay. We're talking about people, you're being graded by the politicians that are competing against your boss, the mayor. And so when I got into this job, we were in campaign season. It was a re-election year for my mayor because the election was in August. So everything we didn't do right, was on a TV ad. Okay, so your scorecard is public, and more importantly, you know, and you're responsible for it. And if certain things are more important to me than you, then the question has to be asked. So why does the organization need you?
Come on,
because you're responsible for that. I'm not. It's in your duty title.
Yeah, see.
This is anecdotal, not, you know, but if for instance, I won't even use a department in the city of Montgomery to make sure I don't, because somebody can see this and say, man, he talking bad about this dude or that this young lady or whatever. But if you are responsible for the Department of Floral Beauty for the city of Montgomery, and you ain't growing no flowers, and it ain't important for you to grow no flowers and make the city beautified by flowers, and I care more about it than you do, well, why does the organization need you? And so then when you have those conversations with people, they've never had that conversation in 20 years. No one's ever challenged them on their performance.
Right.
See.
Yeah,
but,
you know.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Herb.
So one thing that I see, because I work for the city as well, right? But one thing that I see as far as military folks, well, I'm gonna just say for me, you know what I'm saying. For me, pivoting was my leadership style and how I manage, right? You know what I'm saying? So I've always been about people, and so you know I have a lot of part-time employees, and so I'm always looking for opportunities for them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, why don't you look for these jobs and stuff like that? You know what I mean? And teach them how to interview and stuff like that, right? And so, you know, especially talking to my wife, she's like, "You doing all of that?" You know what I mean? It's like for me, I think it's a foreign concept for them as far as like what mentorship is,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like as long as they do the job, it's fine,
right?
You know what I mean? But I'm going over what you're going to wear for your interview. I'm almost doing, you know what I'm saying? What we call them?
Tap.
I'm almost open ranks inspection on them. You know what I mean?
Okay, you're right.
I'm damn near about to do that because in my mind, that's how I led. You know what I mean? I always look over my people and make sure I'm giving them opportunity to advance. You know what I mean? I don't really see that too much in the civilian world. It's like just do your job. You know what I mean? And you know all that other stuff. That's your problem. So I'm thinking
I spend the majority of my day. I spend the majority of my day having those type of conversations. And for those who want to receive what I'm trying to impart, man, they come to me and say, no one's ever done this in my entire career. I've been doing this for 15 years. No one's ever sat down with me and gave me clear directions, talked about what those and expectations were, and then how you fit into that. And then the professional development piece, when I start talking to them about, okay, so where are you at on your certifications? Where are you at on your college studies or getting your master's degree or finishing out your bachelor's degree? Because the city, as y'all know, has a lot of employees that don't have degrees, right? And so, but they're always looking to move upwardly. And you say, okay, so two of the avenues you can do that is through certifications and or a degree. You don't have to get a degree, but certifications, especially in the IT world, are very important. Certifications in the inspections community and whatnot are very important. And so I try to give those people a guideline and then give them a pathway and then some milestones that they need to try to hit. Doing that, I've got a lot of positive feedback. It's just those folks that I think are happy where they are and just want to be able to I guess exist in a space of mediocrity, or just I just want to come in and look. Don't you stand in front of that elevator at 4:30 because you'll get trampled.
You're right. So now, so let me go into this, man. So how do you manage that? Because I think that's the key. Because what we're talking about for real, ladies and gentlemen, is pivoting and staying professional, right? You can't just wash this thing off, especially after doing it for so long. You can't wash it off, but we have to be able to manage our expectations too. dealing with individuals that have been subpar for 25 years, if not longer, older than you. You know what I'm saying? Older than you and being mediocre. Now, don't get me wrong. Like you said, it's a place for that. But how do you and how can you advise? What would you say to individuals that's battling that right now? And I mean, dealing with individuals that's getting paid buku money to lead you, but you are leading them. But then their capacity to understand it is so narrow. So how do you deal with that?
Well, and I'm gonna say something that may be a hot take.
It's okay.
But for those we got two communities we talk about. We talk about people that are separated, that may not be in the financial situation where, you know, they can make some of the decisions that retirees can make. Because as a retired colonel, I don't have to come in here, so I can always find something else to do. And even those who are separated, you are talented. You know, don't feel beholden to the pivot. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of talent in the Air Force, and I'm gonna big up the Air Force. You know, the Air Force taught me a lot about how to be a leader and how to manage and do those things, right? So you have an advantage. Now, people may not appreciate it. That's one or two things. And if that organization doesn't appreciate that, maybe they don't appreciate your skill set. Maybe it's time to look for something else. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what I did in my first pivot. What I had to bring to the table, I felt like wasn't valued. So why am I going to come in here and beat my head against the wall with folks that don't value what I bring to the table? So what I essentially found an organization and a leadership team that valued what I brought to the table, and not only that, cut me loose and said, "You do you."
There you go.
That's why we hired you. We hired you to do what you do. And so so that's the key is having the ability to say no when it isn't your why, right? We find ourselves in life doing things because we kind of just fell into it.
Yeah. And
then we convince ourselves that it's our why. Because it's convenient to, and it doesn't take a certain, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm down on people or whatever, but sometimes it takes some courage. It takes some intestinal fortitude to say, no, this isn't for me. You know, this isn't where I need to be.
Right.
Because if you're in that situation, are you your best self? The person that comes home, that you bring home to your family, is that your best self? Look, my wife looked at me when I was in that situation. Right after I retired, my wife looked at me and she said, "Why are you doing this?" My wife, but it was needed that she said that. That's why we need our help meet sometimes, right? Yeah. Because my wife looked at, because I was going to ride it out, right? And I'm killing myself. And she looked at me killing myself. And she said, "Why are you doing this?" Right. You know, this ain't you. This ain't, no, you know, so you don't even, when you're in those situations and you're on a job, because that's what it is. It's a job, man. You know, we try to nuance it, career, this, that, and the other. Your why can be found in anything you do. True. You know, my why has always been to change lives of young people who look like me. I could do that anywhere.
That's true.
I found them at the city of Montgomery. I found them at Norfolk State. I found them in the United States Air Force. One of them is on this podcast. You know, and the thing is that's what my why has always been, is to be a leader of people and young men and women. Now I have a special place for those who look like me, but that didn't. I don't throw everybody. I mean, that I'm open to leading. Right. And furthering everybody, but I know the mental games that have been played on my community about why you can't succeed and you ain't gonna never be nothing and all those things, man. Yeah. My job is to go out there and change some of that bad mental DNA, right? Because that's damn right. Because it's beating your head that you ain't gonna never be nothing. You ain't gonna add up to nothing. And so people walk around in their life with that belief, and that's how they carry themselves. So my why has always been to try to break that, because my parents did a good job of carrying that. But I'm looking at my peers, I'm looking at my friends, and I'm seeing them going down a path, and I can see it right even at 18, 17, 16 years old. I can see that. I knew where they were going to be, you know.
Bro. And guess what? Hey, where they at? Still there.
Right, where I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
You know, so the reality is my why is people. So I'm always going to be involved with people.
Yeah.
But I can do that anyway. But people get caught up and think their why is a job. People think the why is if I don't achieve certain monetary fiduciary trappings, right? If I don't drive this certain car, if I don't have this size house or whatever, everybody's gonna think I'm a failure. Man, I drive a pickup truck every day. You want to know the year of it? 2013 is 10 years old, and I'm a retired colonel. I refuse to go buy a new car, especially with these interest rates out here right now.
Right.
Man, $1,000 car note, y'all keep that. We ain't even got the insurance yet.
Right.
But the thing is I'm okay with just being Country Boy J. You know, with the pickup truck that's 10 years old, but I ain't got no car payment on it, right? So the thing is people get out of the military and they think they have to carry this. Well, you retired now, you got disability, you got retirement, this, that, and you supposed to be doing this, and that. And I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. You running in a loop, chasing something that ain't even real. Because at the end of the day, man, as long as you get you to where you need to go.
Yeah. Don't hey man, don't let my wife hear this podcast, because she be telling me the same, and Seth be telling me this all the time, because sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? I'm the director for a community center here in my city. And I enjoy what I do, being able to affect young kids and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm thinking, man, I already did this. You know what I mean? I've already did this in the military, you know what I'm saying, at a lower level in my career. You know what I'm saying? Leading something like this is like, sometimes like, man, all right, so how do I challenge myself with something else, right? You know what I mean? Like,
but that's where I started, Herm. That's where I started. You ain't gotta stay. Who putting a gun to your head?
Yeah, but here's where I got though, Jeremy. It's like, all right, I could leave to go chase something that might not mean nothing, or stay and do what I'm really enjoying. You know what I mean?
So you answer your own question.
There you go. You go.
Answer your own question.
And you know what, Jeremy? Look. So we've talked about this too. Me and her, we talk, I mean, stupid hours of the morning, early in the morning, right? We talk about this, and it's all about, and it's not just between me and her, it's all of us, right? It is, it's chasing that dragon, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're chasing that dragon, but the deal is that the fires, I truly do believe, that are in front of you, that is the part of your natural gift, talent, and ability that's supposed to put it out. You get what I'm saying? Even though you can, even though it seems silly to you, but you're not doing it for you no more.
Right.
So it goes back to that whole service before self. Are you serving the individuals that's in front of you? Because it's still going to be more people no matter where you go. So connect your why to what you're currently doing. You know, because it's going to afford different opportunities anyway. That's what
and that's what I was going to say. That's what I'm going to say. When you are in a space where you are doing that work, someone's going to notice it. Someone's going to say, I need that guy. I need that young lady to do the work we need to do. So, you know, I'm gonna get a little spiritual here for a second or whatever, but my
you got to preference it.
Hey, but I forget the Bible verse, and somebody may put it on the screen for us or whatever. But there's a term that is talking about patience, right? And it says faith worketh patience. Faith worketh patience. The key is here. People have faith for things, but the thing that's between what they're being patient for and the faith is the work. So sometimes while you're being patiently faithful for something, you need to, in between that time, be working towards something.
What that man said. Y'all better pass that damn plate around.
So sometimes when you're in space where you like, man, I should be making more money, I should be at a higher level, or I should be elevated to a higher level. Sometimes,
look at you. Speak it, Jeremy. Go ahead. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Sometimes you're in your wilderness experience, right?
Yep.
Okay. The children of Israel weren't allowed into the promised land until that generation died away because they didn't have the vision to be able to walk into the promised land and receive what God had for them. So sometimes you're in your wilderness season, right? And you got to let all those old things wash over you and wash away from you before you can step into what you really need to, or what your real purpose and goal and what God has for you. You need to kind of have some of that time and space to be kind of with yourself.
Right.
And then you can step into that promised land, which is your highest exhortation, where you're exalted to where you need to be. And sometimes you got to go through that.
You're right, man. And look, I like that analogy of just, you know, you're still cooking, right? You're still getting it, because that destination, right, is waiting for you, but not the you that you are right now. And that's the deal. So we got to.
Hey man, I'm gonna go biblical one more time, man. Even after the young David boy slew Goliath, was he made the king right away?
See.
So, but let me ask a question though, Jeremy. All right, because I might be wrong, but I always considered you. You know what I'm saying? You had goals in your career, and you know it's as a services guy. It's not easy to make colonel, and it's damn sure not easy to be the vice commander of a wing. You know what I'm saying? Coming from your career field background. Am I wrong if I'm saying that?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So Jeremy, real quick. So being that, you had to be like focused on, you know what I'm saying, different things in your career, right? You like Pat, so how do you, like, for me, right? In my mind, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, there was always a promotion to get, you know what I'm saying? Every few years, I knew that I would be able to test. Right. You know what I'm saying? I was able to accomplish in my career what most people thought I couldn't, based on how my career was going. You know what I mean? So, and now, you know what I'm saying, the pivot is, that's no longer there like that. You know what I mean? For me now in the city, you know what I'm saying, somebody has to move out of the job or something like that in order for me to apply and move up. You know what I mean? So it's kind of different for me now. Like, it's like that kind of pivot is like, okay, you know, I can get promoted, I can move to another job, but it's not really based on solely my performance. You know what I'm saying? It's got to do with what space is available as well, because I'm not moving nowhere.
But if you think about it, Herman, Herman, give me 1 second, Jeremy. If you think about it, maybe part of the transition as far as being in the military, same way, right? 1st and 15th, you get ranked, boom, 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 right? But now that you're out, you're being paid more intrinsically. You see what I'm saying? Possibly, right? Because is it really a monetary thing? Yeah, money give you, you know, in position wise, but you're in a situation where you can do a lot more. You know,
for me, it wasn't the money. It wasn't the money. It's not the money. You know what I mean? Like, they just gave us a rate. I don't care less. It's not that. You know, I'm not saying I don't want to be paid, but it was just something to achieve.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, I made this rank. Okay, let me get this one. Okay. You know what I mean? So it was more along, even in my career, I never thought about how much more money I was going to make. Really, I barely even noticed it. What I noticed, you know what I'm saying, was a different level of responsibility and the feeling it was to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. No, and you're exactly right, Herm, because for me, it's always been, what's my scope and responsibility? The money was kind of, you know, matter of fact, what we were asked to do in the Air Force, we are underpaid.
Clearly.
Based on the amount of scope and responsibility we had.
Clearly.
You know, and having to be responsible not just for people's performance on the job. When you're in the military, you're responsible for people's personal
their life,
you know, and their performance, right? Their personal performance. Like, you can't, you know, like here, as long as it don't get in the way with or embarrass the city, man, people be having affairs all the time. Nobody cares.
Yeah. You get a DUI, that's your ass, not mine. I ain't gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta go nowhere because you got a DUI now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You going to jail, man, not me.
Hey, you know, both in blue. Right.
Now I'm getting marked down because you got a DUI. Okay.
Right. So the thing is, so we lived in that world where we honestly keep pushing, right, for that next thing because we want the scope and responsibility because that's what made us who we are. We wanted to be leaders of people.
That's right.
And what validated that is the size of the team and what kind of effect you had. So I say that because I'm setting some background here and some foundation of what I want to say. But Herm, I'll be honest. I mean, you said something, and I want to address it. Man, I thought I was going to be a general.
Me too.
Not no colonel, you know, but I had to.
Wait, you talking about Jeremy being a general, not you, right?
No, no, man. Why would
I mean,
come on, man.
Bro, man, look, you be saying some crazy shit all the time. Go ahead, Jeremy.
But that was my goal. That was my goal. I was pushing toward that. But then things happen in your career, and then you start understanding that what the Air Force wanted at that rank wasn't what you brought. So then you have to have that conversation. And then Seth, you and I talked about this, the imposter syndrome, right? Well, am I really who I think I am? Am I good enough? Right. Why did the Air Force pick me? You got to grieve that, right? Because part of my decision to retire was I knew I could have stayed another 5, 6, 7 years because we extended colonels past 30, right?
Yep.
But I sat there and did an assessment. Do I want to continue to be in this space, or do I want to see what my talents could bring in another light, in another fashion, right? So that was part of my decision. When I knew it was up, I knew it was up. And I wasn't, and see, I got peers, they go around, they be begging and being cutthroat and backstabbing to try to get that rank. I was never that dude. I just brought me to the table, and I thought that was going to be good enough. And here's the ironic thing. The people that were backstabbing and saying things about me behind my back, guess what they retired as? Colonels. So,
right.
so they did all of that.
Right.
They did all of that. And the reality is they still ended up in the same station that I did. And then they wasted I won't say waste. They stayed an extra 3-4 years trying to somebody. And here's the thing in the military, right? Someone's always got to quote unquote pick you. Yeah. So it's almost like you kind of like a young man or lady going to prom. Is somebody gonna ask me to prom? Somebody, you know, is somebody gonna give me that opportunity? And sometimes it don't happen. But what you got to do is be confident enough in yourself and your skills to move on. Now,
keep going.
The other part, Herm, is this. I could call you tomorrow based on this conversation and say, Herm, I got something for you. The question is, are you willing to do what's necessary to take on that position? And you just told me no, because you said, you just said, I'm not moving nowhere.
Not for another 2 years.
So and those are family decisions. Those are things. I said I'm not moving from Montgomery for 4 or 5 years because my wife just wants to breathe a little bit. My wife wants to sit down for a little bit. But the thing is so sometimes you can't look at where you are. It gives you what you need in the place that you're in right now.
Right.
So there may be a day that you and your wife wake up and y'all have a conversation, and then it might be time to move on. And then that bigger opportunity or that opportunity with more responsibility may step in. It may happen for you in Clarksville. I don't know, but we none of us know what the future holds. But what we have to learn to be is content, right? I talk to my wife and my daughters about this all the time, is contentment. Because we got a whole generation of young people that their lives are driven by their feelings. Feelings are temporary. They're temporal. Right. So anytime you're dealing with something you're dealing with something that is all over the place. Because right now I could be happy and Seth could come over here and slap fire to me, and then I'm mad. That's temporary, right? But what we have to do is understand principles. We don't live on principles anymore because your principles are fixed. That's your North Star, right? So as we go through this journey, we have a generation of young people that are swayed by their feelings all the time and live their life by their feelings, and then don't understand why they're going in circles. Right?
All right.
Check it.
But if you learn to be content, right, you even kill. Everybody knows Philippians 3:13, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me.
Oh, okay.
But do they read the several verses before that? Where the writer says, I have learned to be content because I have been abased and I have been abound. I have been hungry and I have been full. And because of that, I know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because you are content through those. I know what it is to be high. I know what it is to be low. I know what it is to be hungry. I know what it is to be full. And through those experiences, I've learned to be content. Content.
See, that's the word. What's up?
So we about to roll. I want to talk about another pivot.
Okay.
Before we get up out of here, the age limit for enlistment in the military now
17
has just raised to 42.
42. Yeah.
It's just raised to 42, and for people that's listening, you know what I'm saying, when I hear that, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, why not? Why shouldn't people join at that age? You know what I'm saying? Because all it is another career. You know what I mean? It's a career move. But it does open my eyes, man. The Air Force, to me, you know what I'm saying, the military in general is having retention issues. You know what I'm saying? We got to go that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, but then, you know what I'm saying, and I don't stay too connected, but it looks like, you know, we're doing all these other things like changing hair standards and all kind of other stuff, and it feels like the core of the people that's coming in the military looking for structure is now getting out, and we can't keep people in. What about that pivot? If y'all want to talk about that for a little bit before we roll out of here.
I'm gonna kick the Seth first, and then I want to weigh in.
All right. Well, look, brother, man, it's to your point. We're in the same boat, being disconnected. I see that there's a need. Okay. Individuals are looking for something more secure. I think that after COVID, they realized that, hey, you need something more than just being a social media influencer. You get what I'm saying? You need something more. You need to take care of your family. And the military, regardless of what you think about the, you know, politics and things of that nature, there's still a level of security there. And I believe based off of the attributes that people are, you know, that they have, this is an option. Right, it's just an option, but also too is needed. So if you think about it, the Space Force, man, the cybersecurity, all of that, it is most definitely needed. So I think the reason why is that there's individuals having a lot of other career pivots and career changes, you know, in their lives. So this is an option if they can make it. But as far as the standards, man, I laugh at the standards. Ha ha ha. Hey, look, the 362903 right now looks like a clown show. You understand what I'm saying? To me. You know what I'm saying? But I came in a different time, you know, with the frost tips and every little freaking thing you want to do. Hey, if that's the time, then that's the time. But Jeremy, what you think, bro?
So, kind of understood, you know, the folks watching may not understand that I was a senior. I was actually the director of manpower personnel services for Air Mobility Command. So, you know, I was always in those conversations when it came to how we were going to go about assessing talent, recruiting talent, and then retaining talent. You know, and one of the things that I threw up was considered very controversial, and I'll talk about that in a second. But all of these are moves. All of these are moves to ensure that we have a force that can fight the wars of the future. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, what we found that if based on the old standards, like when we came in or whatever, we are only recruiting there's only about 15% of the population that are eligible to even be recruited.
That's right.
Okay. So that's a small pool that you're trying to, so what they're trying to do is trying to extend the age, hoping they'll catch some folks, some quote unquote, what we call late bloomers or such, that we can still tap into their skill sets and their abilities. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit more mature and probably will be at advantage in certain spaces. I'm not talking about combat airmen or combat soldiers or anybody along those, the IT cyber world. Some of these folks had those careers. Now they're looking to have some benefits and have an opportunity to travel and do those type of things. One of the other things we talked about was, and I said this, is I said, you know, isn't it a shame that when you separate from the Air Force, you can never come back?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Unless you are getting, if you're enlisted, right, and you separate from the Air Force, the only option we kind of give you is Palace Chase. Whatever, you go reserves guard, you can continue to serve in that manner, but coming back from the reserve or the guard is hard.
I wonder why that is.
Because we made it such. We made it difficult for you to come back. Because, you know, we talk total force, we talk all those things, but it's too hard to do the promotions, and the promotion, you know, the records aren't always complete and it's different and all these things. We make up all these reasons or whatever. When you could go work for Tesla, leave Tesla, go work for SpaceX, come back from SpaceX, come back to Tesla, and maybe even get a promotion. We don't even have a way for you to come back in where you left, right? And so we try to do things like, you know, I forgot what it was, the professional pause or whatever, where you could take some time off. To kind of do something and bring folks back, but then they owed you 3 years, right?
That's right.
So the deal is what we really have to do is go out and be able to bring talent in and out of the organization at different times and spaces. And I actually pushed that and kind of got booed in his side of the room. But there has to be a way to let people go, do some other things, because it actually will make the Air Force better.
Right.
Because they'll have different experiences. They'll have the opportunity to see some things that the typical airman didn't get the chance to see on a day-to-day basis. So I thought it was a force multiplier, but I kind of got booed and hissed because you got a lot of people who are making the decisions in the Air Force and said, I didn't do it that way, so nobody else gets to do any other way than I did it. And you can't have, especially an Air Force or a Space Force of the future, that doesn't allow you to have portability, right?
That's right.
That portability to be able to move in and out during your career, because any other job you can move in and out of the organization during your career and they'll take you back. Sometimes they even promote you and give you a raise based on where you were when you left, where you went to when you left, and you come back. So you see that at my level now, in the C-suite level, at COOs, CFOs, what happens is you do this for about 3 or 4 years, and then the headhunters come, and then you go do something else.
Yep.
And then somebody may make another phone call, says, hey, we need you back at the chief of staff level, or or things along those lines. So I think all of this is good, except I do agree on the standards piece, the dress and appearance piece. I think once again, we're appealing to people's feelings and emotions versus a military that is professional, that looks professional, and has standards in which individuals need to adhere to at a certain level.
Yeah.
Well,
What you got? Final word, Herm?
Well, as always, it's always an honor to get to talk with you, Reed. We appreciate you coming on, and dropping knowledge for the den, and also I want to thank everybody that came out and listened. You know what I mean? We couldn't do this without your support. Well, actually, no, we couldn't do this. We couldn't do this without your support, man. It's much appreciated, and we would like feedback on, things that you would like to see in the future. And just remember, just because you got to pivot from your dream job or your dream situation, I mean, maybe it's time for another dream. You know what I mean? And give that other thing that you pivot to the same kind of desire, same kind of love that you put into the first thing. You never know what might happen.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Jeremy Reed, brother, you got what the last word for our audience, brother? Got anything?
First thing, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys. Y'all guys have been so warm and hospitable to me. Just as Herm said, man, step out on faith, be courageous. Whatever you want to do in your life, and you put the work and you put the dedication toward it, there's an opportunity. I've learned being outside the military that there are so many opportunities out here, and folks have to just be courageous and step out on that faith, but work in the meantime, work on making yourself better. But at the end of the day, step out on that faith, be courageous, and go after it.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but this is what we do. You understand what I'm saying? This is what we do. We have great conversations with thought leaders, and even it doesn't matter who, but we have those conversations that's connected to growth and development. And so we're challenging you. What are you going to do? Don't hold yourself back. And ladies and gentlemen, the world is waiting for you to be the best version of yourself. So stop sitting there waiting. All right, but this is what we do here at the Lions Den. Y'all take it easy, keep it greasy. Until next time. Later.